And we are live. Welcome to the Morning Garden stream and watching the moon. This is a pretty good shot of the moon, actually, as the different sky is changing into the light, which is pretty cool. And I think it is. It almost looks like northern lights, but it isn't really northern lights. It's just an interesting contrast of the morning. Yeah. And then it goes out again. Okay, so there we go. It's back in focus. But now it's back out of focus. Okay. There's a bird. Anyway, so let's just do this. All right, so this is the garden. Looking around. All right. So I'm glad that they are releasing information. Well, there's different activists talking about the alien thing. I think it's very important to do because there's lots of information out there that has been silenced. A lot of things that have been hidden. So I do think it's important that it's being brought up to different people at this different times. It's good. And I'd like to see more. But yeah, I I think it's important for people to see and talk about. David Grush and a couple other people have done it recently, which I think it is important for them to do. Okay, so yeah, anyway, the David Grush and those different people, I think it's good that they're talking about it because a lot of times things have been censored. And it's important for people to, although there's other things going on. Hello, new Meep. Welcome to the stream. So, yeah, just like with the trials that we watch, it's important for people to see the truth and see justice about what's actually going on. And I think it is very important for people to see justice with the different whistleblowers, with anything. Whistleblowers in any kind of topic is important to have because a lot of times I don't think the governments really tell the truth about things. And for yesterday, for instance, there is the trial in Wisconsin where the people were talking about, this dude was saying he was putting a fight with the judge, he was defending himself, he was making himself look like a fool. And the verdict was very quick in that trial because he wasn't trying to be fair. He was trying to cause more problems with his arrogance, his pride, right? And a lot of these people are out of touch with reality, I think. Hello, hello there, Art, our fan. Hello, Khan. Good to see you. Yeah. So Yeah, I think so. That is my mentality. See, because you have a lot of people out there that are not really genuine, especially these kind of. Oh, by the way, this is squash and pumpkins. By the way, a lot of these people that are fakes and are not really truly trying to help out with their ambitions of justice, but they're just trying to be out for themselves. So yeah, so connecting the way the criminal trials work with reality is interesting. So that's why I believe with the topics regarding the extraterrestrial things, which we talk about here a lot, or the criminal trials that we watch, it's important for the truth to come out. And sometimes things be articulated a certain way where you don't always see right away what the actual truth is. So that is why I think with the truth will set you free, basically, right? Where a lot of people are out for themselves, but when you look at the facts about something, it may not be as it seems. Like, for instance, there's for thousands of years people talked about aliens and different things like that, and then they're talking about them now. Still, there was recently the Epstein file stuff that was released, and people saw truth about it. But then again, a lot of people were not held accountable. There were different things that came out that people weren't really able to see. So yeah, we don't always get the truth that we want to, but it's important to try to seek it as much as possible. And the lesson would be to be as straightforward as possible. And a lot of people are corrupted by money and their own, stay in their own skin. So I think that basically with the like criminal trials and real life, conspiracy theories are connected the way they're handled a lot of times. If you're dealing with someone that's, a guilty person and somebody that's trying to hold a conspiracy theory away from other people for knowing, it works the same way. Yeah. Yeah, so it's crazy to think about when a lot of times they'll say people are not correct about something and they're told that for many years and years and eventually they say that they actually were correct about the whole thing. That's where I will say that it's good to trust yourself in the facts because the mainstream narrative may not always be correct. Yeah, and these are the nice elephant ear plants. They're always looking, they're getting bigger, which I like. All right, so that is all good. Why they're getting bigger. Yeah, so there's many, especially cryptids. Cryptids is something else that is coming out that would also be kind of correlated with UFO things. And cryptids, a lot of times, are just these type of creatures or entities that exist in the world that people are not completely familiar with, or that they're legends or like legendary creatures that are known to be like fictional, but they actually might have some sort of merit to it. Yeah, and a lot of people tell me they've seen different cryptids in the woods. In the woods, we may not really know exactly everything that is out there, but it is good to know there are people out there that are documenting it. And yes, of course, there are many hoaxes that happen. Right. Yeah, so there are people that I'm curious if the chat has seen any cryptids before or anything like that, because a lot of people have had different experiences with them. Maybe not everybody, but many people have. These are the okra plants. They're getting bigger every day because of the weather, etc. Yeah, so there are different cryptids that exist in different parts of the world. There's all kinds of different legends about them. People will have all over the place, which I think is pretty cool because a lot of times people think they're mythical, but they're not really mythical. There's actually quite a bit of them that are there and real. Like, for instance, the gorillas and stuff are thought to be fake, but they're actually true. They're actually real. So there might be things out there they think are fake that are really real. Yeah, so I think UFOs. There's definitely different things like UFOs and stuff are out there too, as well, because people have sightings all the time about them. Because when you have different, I've seen different things in the sky, and then you'll see the thing and it just floats away. Like when I see it, it goes and floats away. Right, that's what it does. All right, and let's see. Yeah, so I don't know if now there's also plasmoids that have been talked about recently, and the plasmoids I think were pretty cool because people talked about them for a long time. That basically the entity itself, the UFO itself, is a entity of some kind. So I think that concept is pretty cool. And they're very colorful. They come in all kinds of different colors. Now, people do think that the plasmoids may possibly be something from like an angelic or a demonic entity. So that is something pretty cool about them. What people think. So yeah, the plasmoids I think are something real, and they'll say it's a phenomenon of some kind. That's what they'll say a lot about the plasmoids. But yeah, those an example of, 'cause they originally thought UFOs themselves could be an entity of some kind, but actually the whole thing. So there's different types. There's some that are just UFOs being run by something, and then the other plasmoids are something else completely. Um, yeah, and to think that the universe is so vast that there's something else there besides us. I think there is definitely something else besides us in the universe. That's why I think that they are definitely real. And yeah, I just think that is glossy about it. And I believe more information will come out about it as time goes on, which will be very cool to see over time. One of my friends had a Bigfoot sighting when he was camping. It was a big um, footprint of some kind of creature. So they definitely are there, out there, because different people have seen stuff on camping trips, different UFOs and things, which I think are pretty cool. And over time, people saw more and more things as they went along, which I think sometimes people have seen things in the cities, but not usually in the cities though. But they are out there sometimes. They're usually more in secluded areas. Nice birds in the morning. Sonny says, I went camping in Tahoe with a bunch of with a bunch of locals. My local MBF at the time, they would not let you go in the wood, go be in the woods by yourself. Someone always had to go with you. Oh, okay, thanks, Sonny. And yeah, that's very interesting. And you see, because there's things in the woods, especially there's legends of things in the woods. Like Bigfoot's the famous one that is talked about a lot. And yeah, and thank you for mentioning that. It's very interesting perspective. because there are many mysterious things that exist in nature that people were not making up, but they're actually real things, sightings that were happening. Yeah, it's a real threat to those that live there. Yeah, because people who actually are in those regions will experience all kinds of things like that. Because a lot of times in the show, people that live in these different parts have had encounters with different entities, and to them it's very real. Now, in the mainstream media, in Hollywood, will definitely use things a lot for their movies and stuff, but it's based on real things. And have the skeptics and people talk about how, oh, this didn't really happen the way they said it happened. It was just something mythical. And then a lot of times that I've seen where they'll say, oh, like the people were making up things to scare people, or they're being superstitious. But see, that doesn't mean anything. Like when in these time periods that we're in, when all this different stuff are coming out, when there's various different mysteries that were never solved or encounters people had, people will see that they weren't making up something. They really were experiencing a real entity of some kind. Like, say, usually in cities, people will have encounters with other people because there's not as many wilderness type entities there. Now, there's ghosts that have been seen by a lot of people. So ghosts, for instance, many people have speculated about ghosts not existing. Now, I know like something could fall in a haunted house, and people will think that one person might think it's something falling over. Someone else might think it's really a ghost. Now, sometimes it could be something falling over. Other times, it really may be something like, especially how something falls. Like something could fall, right? Something can fall in a haunted house. In an old house, it can be falling over because it just uh, fell off balance for some reason. But other times, you could have something falling over in the most strangest way. Like you could have a drink or an object just fly off a table, and it didn't happen naturally. So if something doesn't fall the way it's supposed to fall, then it might be something paranormal. If it can't really be explained, if you have something that just like lifts up and flies across a room, that's not really something natural. So yeah. So I would say, depending on where the locations are in cities, you would have more instances of probably more ghost sightings than seeing other things. You could see other things too, possibly as well. And as I said, the woods are very unexplored, and they were not settled by people. So whatever is in there was able to stay there as long as it wanted to stay there. And that's how we were able to learn about these things. Yeah. So I think in current time periods, people are now learning that they are able to be more open about these activities. And it's not just that they've seen, over times in the past, the alien sightings, the alien files are able to open a gate, so to speak, to other things that are being talked about. I'm glad that people in the military are talking about it, because many people that I know from the military also have seen alien encounters. So the cryptids are also there too, in the ghosts and things like that. So yeah. Now there's debates about ghosts exactly, and sometimes people think that various things about ghosts. Yeah. Hello, Moose. Moose says evil spirits, demons, Nephilim, all these things can not break the shield of angels. I remember listening to this indigenous elder claim after the missionaries arrived and converted villagers. His fair lady would no longer appear to him any longer. Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, and some people believe that ghosts could be people that passed away. Some people think ghosts could be other entities or fallen spirits masquerading as ghosts. It could be a variety of different things or different reasons. So definitely there's been speculation about, especially from the Book of Enoch, that the spirits are actually things from the Nephilim that passed away. Yeah, and Sonny says energy. Yeah. Yes. Yes. They also could be different energy fields. Like, for instance, plasmoids are a type of energy field that exists. And the plasmoids themselves are maybe similar to some ghost entities that are just energy fields of some kind with some sort of consciousness. So it's interesting to speculate what a variety of things that they could be. Yeah. And my position about cryptids is that some of them are entities of some kind that could be biological creatures that were just not discovered. For instance, there's lots of plants that were not used for smoking or various things because they just were not really discovered or used. And tobacco and opium and weed were used, but then other things may not have been used that could have been used. So there just may have been things that are not discovered that were just existing in the wild, especially the ocean. I think the oceans have a lot of entities in them besides us. I mean, that what not us, but what we know about. There's mysterious noises that happen underwater that have been reported that they don't really know what they are. And some of these things sound huge. They're just gigantic, some of these entities. Sonny says, I think there's a lot of splicing going on inside mountains, humans and aliens working side by side. Yeah. And there's been contracts with the governments of the world and aliens to their technology. And there has been many whistleblowers and instances happening where lots of aliens and humans working side by side on different projects, which it's not likely they're going to always be disclose us everything as quickly as we'd like them to. But yeah, that is something absolutely I believe is going on as well. Thank you, Sonny. Mount Hayes, underground drilling a cause of the noise heard. And yeah, so underground, under mountains, inside mountains, and underwater, underwater too, but in mountains, there has been these different noises that have been happening, and underground drilling, and they're not really telling us what it is exactly. And yeah, the aliens and humans definitely are working on technology with each other in different projects. There's been definitely alleged pictures of that have been circulating. There's been a lot of alleged sightings of that, and we know of contracts between them and us. That is also true. Cabin in the Woods is a movie you should see. Explains somewhat what we're talking about. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. And by the way, I believe movies are actually a preview about what's really going on. I believe movies was a preview about and hinting about what they're really doing. Sonny says, okay, so before her sister was slain, she would tell of a gracious elk who would appear her with his herd, warned she was passed away soon. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is like an omen of some kind. Now, I personally, Moose, have heard of the Hardrome Collider. I have, Moose. And I believe that has been causing a lot of different paranormal activities that happen, from our realm, from the other realms that exist. Yeah. Movies are definitely a preview of what is going on. Yeah. See, that's what I think with movies is that they're trying to, rather than it being completely fictional, it's really just telling us the truth about what's happening with subliminal messaging. That way, the human population can learn over time what the truth is without them having a culture shock over it. Yeah. Yeah, like Congressman Luna was talking about the alien stuff because they recently, the other day, had that going on when they were talking about alien stuff that needs to be disclosed. So I'm glad the different congressmen are talking about it and the different whistleblowers from the military talking about it too. Hey, Sebastian. Back again again, I figured out that the Z-Chrome crystals and how the ancient dinosaurs worshipped a meteor that looked like out of divine gifts were not landing markers original camps. Oh, okay. Well, glad that you looked into that and saw more information on it because I was looking at something about dinosaurs earlier and they may have coexisted with the giants or they may have had something to do with it. It could have been some artificial created thing and then they were wiped out later. Like they weren't. It's like kind of a glitch in a matrix that wasn't supposed to be here. Yeah, I believe there are alien bases underwater. That's something that I believe is because a lot of times with alien bases, they are around, and underwater there's like nobody really there. There's not a lot of monitoring going on, and there's bizarre noises underwater that happen, and we don't really know what they are. So that's something fascinating to know that they do, right? And the entire situation has unfolded. I learned the whole system is underground. Stone is in the storage of water that is memory of the entire Earth. Computer, we don't understand. Oh, thank you. Yesterday, we were talking about that with Chris about how the universe itself is like a giant computer organism of some kind, and we just might be just thoughts in it. So the Earth having its own type of memory system through these crystals would make sense, according to that theory we talked about the other day. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The entire computer has been running since it noticed us in biological, and we are just a janitor. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to me. And I mean, the quartz crystal has been used. Yeah, definitely 007. There is something in the water. Yeah. Yeah. And it has a memory system for eons and eons ago. And sometimes the consciousness can just come into existence when it's like programmed to. So that's something else that's a factor that people also got to understand as well. The reason the world seems like it would end because everything will go out of date soon. The entire city will be absorbed on top of us and we will be forgotten. The internet was discovered. These data centers will be outdated when they finish building them. Okay, thank you for that. It's very interesting. Yeah. Oh, good morning, Lisa. Yeah, and by the way, this would be a good painting right here, because you have like the sky coming up and the rest of the forest. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I think it definitely the data centers and everything being reliant on the data centers that can cause it to, and if that was compromised or got outdated, it could completely plunge this world into a dark era of some kind. It's like all over again, history repeating its analog to digital, but its time, its intelligence to artificial. Ah, okay, gotcha. What do you think about the Al Hajra Al Aswad affixed to the Kaaba and Mecca with your beliefs on crystals and computers? I'm curious. Oh, yes. Yes, that's a very good question. Thank you. I believe that it definitely has some type of computer type mechanism to it of some kind from a couple I don't know how long. I mean, I know it's there for a long time, but eventually the crystal either fell or it came down at some point, and I think that was certainly used as a station or a database station of some kind. Has some sort of capabilities about that, and over time, the different civilizations that had it were using it for their own sources. Like, say, there is the pagans that used it, and then the eventually, when it converted to the Muslims, used it too. But back in the past, especially from the time of those gods and stuff that existed in that region, it had to do with a database of some kind, just like an energy field. Definitely, that was there, just like the quartz crystals and the pyramids. It's similar to the pyramids. The pyramids may have been used as a type of energy center or a database of some kind that was used, and that may have been the same type of thing. Yeah, especially if you think about with Egypt, which also 605 AD. Oh, okay, yes. Whenever it, well, before that, it allegedly before that it was used as a special area by the pagans. So the area was a special region for the the pagans, and allegedly the Kaaba was built allegedly according to their theology by Abraham and Ishmael, and then the pagans used it. So yeah, it was a database center of some kind before and after 608, the 605. Yeah, and whenever it did fall to that region, it was used as a computer database center, either through energy, because for instance, you have the crystals that were used by the Spanish, like a crystal ball, that was used by the Spanish to see the Spanish Inquisition get destroyed in the United Kingdom during the time of the war with Elizabeth I. And so these crystal objects were used back then as a computer technology like we have now. So 605 AD, it was, in other time periods before that, which I believe was always a special site, it was used as a type of database, and they used it as a spiritual meditation energy. So they may have not have used it the way. Oh yes, passion, absolutely, and good to see you. So that is how they would use it. All right, they. It would not be the same way as you use a computer or a phone, but they use it through a meditation type means over the way we use technology now, because it's the same stuff we have now in the phones and the computers that were used back then, but they use it in a different way we use it now. Yeah, so that's what I think about the Mecca. And Moose said something else I missed what you said is it was worshipped by the pagans before Prophet Muhammad placed it in 608. Yes, correctly. So when it was used, I got that right. Yeah, it was used by the pagans, and then Prophet Muhammad, he converted it into a different type of device, being used for the God of Abraham over the pagans that were using it for something. And that's what even Christianity did the same thing with different pagan practices. They used it for the God of Abraham. So yes, originally it was used, probably brought there by the extraterrestrials, and they used it as a technology database. Then it was used, converted into something else. But it always was a spiritual medium of some kind, but it was used basically the same way we use a database or some sort of computer system like we do now. Yeah. Very good question, by the way. Ancient India manuscripts describe as a type of artificial intelligence whose primary mission was to protect human life. Of course, when we ride with the intelligence became part of warfare, fighting for the weakest side, whereby making the stronger side intelligence would have the switch the weakest side, whereby making it the strongest side. The ultimate outcome would be the total annihilation of humanity opposed to this saving grace. This one is really going to freak you out. How does McDonald's generate 1.5 million pounds of beef in a single day? Yeah, that is a spooky thing. Yeah, it'll give you a hint. We already eating bugs, trees with the original crystals, radio frequencies, and transmissions. And Sebastian asked before to give you some options. Espo Rock, what is the burgers? The crazy part is they're getting used to being in a prison, so now we're getting shocked when it happens. There's currently around 1 billion castles alive today. Do you know how many pounds of meat in alone? No, not castles, but cattle alive today. Do you know how many pounds of meat is alone? Yeah. I can only imagine. I wouldn't know the number. I'm sure it's, billions. Definitely. Recognizing it had the power, it could place a name and could see the source of power. Oh, I personally not butchered a cow, but I know farmers and I learned about farming a couple of years ago, so I'm aware about it. That's to say, I am aware about what you're talking about. Yeah, there's lots of cattle out there, but I definitely have heard the conspiracies about McDonald's using other types of meat than what we're familiar with. There are about 450 to 500 pounds of meat on every healthy, ready-to-be butchered cow. Okay, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I read everything. That's good. Why is the ground meat gray now and is used to be brown when cooked? Passion said, "You sound a bit radical to a casual observer when you're reading some of this aloud." Yeah, it's definitely quite a bit of. We get into rabbit holes, Passion, a lot of things. We get into a lot of things. Yeah. And why is the ground meat gray now? It used to be brown when cooked. Well, I don't know the answer to it, but I could give you a speculation based on analysis that they must be doing something different must be happening to the meat. Either the way we cook it, or the cooking equipment's different, or there's something different about the meat. Maybe there's more different ingredients in the meat that was in there before, but what are those ingredients? It can certainly be, maybe it's not all natural. Maybe they're adding different things in there that are not 100% what should be in there. So that is something that's possible. And you're talking to a butcher. I see the changes. I don't want to be the only one saying, I told you what happens. Right. We are just looking at the trees because it's a peaceful morning, not necessarily looking for anything specific. Have you read of the religion in Africa where they eat the flesh of aliens in order to gain prophetic powers? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It's similar to Pirates of the Caribbean, that movie where they wanted to eat Captain Jack, the island people, because they thought he was a god and they would release him from his human form. It's kind of similar to that concept. Oh, we are facing the trees. That's true. Because we usually watch the sun come up, and I'm waiting for the sun to get up a little bit more to observe it. Oh, it's okay, Chris. You made it. We're talking about philosophical discussions that you'll be interested in. We're talking about how crystals in the earth might be databases of memories and data like a computer, similar to what we did yesterday. But it's something a little bit different. Oh, you're going, Moose? All right. Nice hanging out with you. See you later. Sebastian said, anyway, back to the mothership. I'll always be more. Oh, okay. Okay, Seb. Oh, I just read that. Seb, take care, Seb. Thank you for hanging out with us. It was a pleasure talking to you. All right. Shout out to Seb. All right. Yeah. See, it's like with the person. This happens to me all the time. Like when I'm in different chat rooms, people think that I'm leaving when I'm telling someone else bye. But even when I see people saying bye, I'm thinking it's the person themselves leaving, but it's actually someone else. I completely miss that. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So I would say over the decades, they probably changed ingredients of what they put in meat or how they rate. It could be the same meat could still be there, but it may be totally different on how they cook it now than they did back then. Like they might put the cows might eat something different than what they ate back in the past. So now they're going to be eating. It's going to come out differently than it did before. Yeah, but definitely the databases are because in those crystals because the the quartz crystal for specifically a friend of mine who's always a skeptic about UFOs, he saw one fly over his head and it was a quartz crystal and it was being used as an energy source. When did contemplating the ingredients of hamburger, I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into the fathomless chaos of eternal night. I don't blame you. It's definitely what I feel talking about it too. Well, I had this crazy hypothesis that the sun touching, grasping the earth, and a barefoot hugging the tree could affect our energy for good. Yeah, definitely. It definitely affects our spiritual energy and biological energy too. Quarters used to measure the time because of if vibrates over 30,000 times a second. Oh, thank you, bro. Thanks for telling us about that. I think the grayness of the meat must come from low oxygen levels from the packaging, shipping, and storage freezing temperatures before it's being shelled. Okay. Yeah, it might be that. Sir, do you manage to capture some good UFO evidence? Yes, Autumn, I have. Good morning, Anna. Welcome to the stream. And yes, I have a video of UFOs. I saw on the horizon a UFO at night. It was a blue orb, and I saw it when I took a video of it. And it's on my channel, but I got to re-upload it because people can't really find it. So I have to re-upload it. Another thing that happened was the aliens in the sea that we're talking about too, because there's also aliens in the oceans. Moose says, all isn't local beef anymore. We buy low, sell high, many products, especially in Canada now with politics. Yeah. And one of my friends is a farmer, and she told me about how over a lot of food could come from China, hypothetically, and a lot of our meat gets sent over to China. And the way that because these companies, the way they're dealing with meat now, it's kind of suspicious. Now, China used to be buying up our farms, and they're not allowed to do that. Everything is some degree is energy, memory, information, like DNA, climate change could affect frequency. The world is changing, shifting to 5 dimensions, those who are awakening. Yeah. There's definitely a shift taking place. You know, and you see, the DNA will adapt with the energy that's being given into it. Okay, Chris also says the one's consciousness enough will enjoy everything that the fifth dimension can offer. We can see reality more crystal clear living beyond those who do not want to level up. Yeah, a lot of people don't level up, and I think all the technology has been used for something very enlightening, like what we're doing. Technology can also be used as a way to go backwards. Like a lot of times, people can either sink or swim. You know, people could go backwards in a time warp where they just rot away, rather than trying to advance and to adapt into a more advanced civilization. The ones conscious enough will enjoy everything in the fifth dimension. Oh, okay, Passion, understood. Okay. And later on, Passion, I'll be playing the one of those replays of one of those trials. Yeah. The Valet trial, I'll be replaying. Yeah. And that's why fear is controlling the society by wars, fake food, and propaganda, solar flares. Yeah. Because when people are afraid like that, it'll certainly hinder their the way they are. You know, it'll certainly hinder them spiritually and mentally. You know, many religions talk about having peace within and stuff like that, and that's why people need to have peace within. It doesn't have to have peace within, even if you're in complete chaos, like I am. You could see it as a positive thing. Another thing is to see anything that happens as something good. Like I could be very stressed out, but I'll see the stress as something good, and I use it as a fuel. And say someone else with the stress may see it as something bad. So it's all your interpretation about what's going on. And I mean, I'm not like upset or anything. I mean, I do a lot of activities, but I see it as a good thing, as like a sport or an activity like that. So that way, the say cortisol that's pumping through is used in a positive way for a positive thing. Like say an athlete, right, is using it for a positive thing rather than sitting there and being like, poor pitiful me. So yeah, it's all about your perspective on things too, and a lot of people have perspectives in a negative way rather than a positive way. And 007 says fear is definitely a state that you want an individual in your life to see control their consciousness. Yeah, I see fear. You know, being afraid of nothing is a way of being free, but fear itself is a way of control, and a lot of people are controlled by the matrix by doing that. See if the sun's out. Look. Does a master own his slave's mind or his physicality? You know, he could own both, but a lot of times they could own just the physical body because you can break someone and own their physical body, but their mind is something that you would never really be able to own because that is something that they truly would have. And like you could come down from inside and never be broken. You know, you could be from the inside. You know, uh, and not be broke because your mind, you could go through your mind and go through all kinds of different places and different things in the mind. You know, you have power over your mind, but not outside events. When you know this, you'll find strength. You know, so the mind is really yours to be free, and the mind can be used to eventually free oneself, hypothetically. So yeah, I would say the slave master owns the body more than the mind. But you know, sometimes there are a lot of situations, especially in the modern day, we don't have slavery like we used to really. So what we have, yes, definitely, the wildlife is. And the thing is, Moose, is that today a lot of people are enslaved in their minds, which is the worst place to be enslaved. A lot of people are enslaved by their own limitations, by fear, by all kinds of different things. And that will cause people to be trapped in the matrix, so to speak. So a lot of people these days are not really enslaved physically, but mentally. And it's the worst way to enslave someone is through their mind, because you're really stuck then if you're enslaved through the mind. And Moose says, just as I cannot think for you, I can control the ideas given, but know the ideas are output of it. Yes. Humanity will always fear whatever they do not understand, and sometimes fear is rational, sometimes from a different perspective can switch our engagement about life, control what's good or what is bad. And it is also a way of survival too. Fear can be used as a good thing, or it could be used. You could make someone afraid of missing out on something that they need to not miss out on. So it can be used as a good thing. It can also be used as a bad thing. Do your brains are receivers or receptors? They could be both. It depends. They could be both. Some people are more receivers. Some are more receptors. It depends. It's like a radio. A radio can receive a signal, but it also can produce a signal too. It produces a signal into your ear, and it receives a signal from somewhere else. But it could either be one or the other. And right there is some more sunshine. That's another good angle. Complete hypnotism and magnetism. Mind reading and spiritualism is a great read in around turn of the century. Okay, thanks. Thanks. Yeah. Definitely in the turn of the century, they came up with a lot of different ideas and things like that. 1903, yeah, a lot. During that time period, there's lots of spiritualism and going on that people were observing at that time, and it's glad it was documented about different things that are discovered. Yeah, and yeah, the mind reading and stuff. See, we're talking the other day about Arabi, who is this. Uh, he was a mystic, a Muslim mystic. He was a Sufi from Sufism. He was talking about these different realms and portals that he explored. And oh, thank you. Allegedly he was able to see the future a lot of times, and he was able to see the different parts of the world, like from the future. He also saw things from different dimensions, and that this concept of immediate teleportation from one thing to another was something else that was mentioned, and how these miracles are able to happen through God, through various different people. And but the concept is, regardless of religion, is that he was able, there's this other realm of a metaphysical realm, that of a telepathic type of realm that people can access. Good morning, Saw Girl. It's great to see you. We are experiencing the nice sunrise right now and talking about different things. So yeah, there's definitely some telepathic type of connection people can have with each other or in general. I believe the author's name, if I remember correctly, is Alphys Mesmer. Let's do this. There. I would like to share my true story. One night after going to a rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, I felt deeply affected, and I asked this true to give me a sign. Next morning, when I woke up, I saw two orange light robotic outline in my wall. It was still there. When I blinked, it disappeared soon after, and I looked up, and they saw it was a spirit sparkle. Huh. You see, they gave you a sign, and you ask, and you shall receive. That is very cool that you saw that. I saw something weird in my room one time when I was a kid, where it was this glowing thing on the wall. All right, Saw. There's the sun right there. That was what I saw. It was a glowing thing on the wall, and it kept moving around every different night. As you read, you begin to notice yourself breathing. The words calm down as your eyes flow along the text and you slow sound sensation of sleep. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, Sky, you like it? Saw. Good morning, Lori loves Jesus. Great to see you. Hey Trevor, great to see you. 007 says, I wait until you see the laser beams from space that go right through the solid objects without harming them. You see, that is the ingenious technology that they have, where this technology beyond our understanding, where you could go put laser beams through something without hurting it. That's why this alien technology is being concealed so much. Chris says, any of you guys know the famous story of Jacob Grinbar, allegedly, who took many conferences and TV shows and spoke about the Matrix and how our consciousness could either trap us or free us? The weirdest thing is the missing from knowing so much nobody ever really sees him again. Allegedly left the Matrix. That's very cool. I've not heard of that one, but I do need to look into it. Thank you, Saw. Same. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. He left the Matrix. The There's a couple of people that disappeared and they just kind of like left the Matrix's existence. But yeah, that is very possible. There was there's that founder. Yeah, let's see. 007 says the technology is amazing, and us human beings have advanced so far that this technology that most people would not ever believe in. Yeah, it's so amazing that they're able to do that. Well, it's good to see you too, Passion, and enjoy. Go ahead and enjoy that the quarterfinals. Yeah, and that's why I believe they're trying to censor the alien technology. Oh yeah, Trevor, definitely. That's why they're trying to censor the alien technology because they don't want people to know more about the truth about it. And Chris says people going missing is something that we must talk about someday because knowing too much could be a burden for the government. Oh yeah, there's so many people that know about the ETs. As for instance, those scientists that went missing. there's so many of those people out there that know these different facts. And a reason why people might go missing is because they want to censor what they know. Yes, and I've heard about those before. Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. Definitely, I'm gonna go see it. Oh no, I've not. I have not done that, but I definitely will. I gotta. I think I saw it before, but I don't. If I didn't, I'll go back and look at it. Yeah, I definitely think with that Mount Athos is real. Oh, that's good. So I'm glad you're gonna see it too. I was out in the mountains one evening and had the scope of my 308 aimed at a large eyeball. I realized it was a gray, most terrible looking creature. I felt no danger, and it seemed to me to have no malevolent intent, so I didn't take a shot. Oh, very interesting. It felt peaceful. Yeah, I've seen UFOs on when I'm on the stream with y'all, and I've taped them before, and I don't feel threatened by them. Yes, yeah, and I'm not joking. Look just like they betrayed these little cosmic, except that it didn't have a very frightful look. Its facial and to its facial features. So you're saying that the media exaggerates him a little bit, and it's more not as scary looking. Let's see, these cosmic, except it did have a very frightful look to its face and features. No, he said it looked just like they betrayed these little cosmic, except it did have a very frightful look. Oh, okay, I get it. I get it now. Yeah, you know, and when you're actually there with the entity, it's something very different feeling than actually being away from it. So that's a very unique experience you had, 007. It looks scary looking, but the vibes were not scary about it. Okay, yeah, yeah. Looks can be very deceiving. Sometimes the most beautiful thing can be the most evil thing. The most real things in this world are some of the things we can't see. Yeah, like a poison flower, and the opium flower. Like an opium flower can be very deadly, but it's beautiful. Or like a flower that's completely poisonous, or a fruit that's poisonous that you want to eat, but it's actually very deadly. Yeah. Oh, it's been a pleasure, Moose. Blessings to you, and thank you for hanging out with us. Yes, be aware of the dragon, definitely. One one thing I do know, it was watching me through, and it was kind of strange. It must I have known I had a weapon, but it also didn't seem concerned. Oh, that's very cool. Oh yes, they do, Lori. Absolutely. Looks can be are fundamentally look assumptions that someone is evil, all about intentions. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It can be very beneficial. Yes, exactly, Trevor. 007 says the energy around was strange. Also, things were falling from the branches, and there was a lot of dogs barking. Like everything in nature knew that something was there for except for me. Very cool. Very cool. You see, the strange energy is another sign of it being true. Because a lot of times the energy frequencies that people will feel is neutral, but then they'll feel something strange and they'll kind of glitch out and they'll sense that's the sixth sense that we talk about, that there's something else besides this realm that we're able to pick up on. People do remote viewing and see things beyond this realm. I mean, there's people that have seen the future and the past. You see, those are ways of remote viewing. They're able to access that other place. Scared. And also 007, Saul wants to know if it was scary. The energy around was strange. Also, things were falling from the branches, and there was a lot of dogs barking, and everything in nature knew something was there except for me. Hey, Mace. Good morning. Oh, Trevor, she was talking to 007 because she's talking about the supernatural encounter that 007 had. Oh, he had. I'm doing good, Mace. I'm having a good morning. We're We're talking about different conspiracy theories and things like that. Yeah, I'm doing good. Had a long week. It's been very busy. I hope you're doing good too. Yes. Also, the intuition. When your intuition sending signals like Spider-Man is because something is off. Yeah. Yeah, like the body sending messages. 007 said it had a natural appearance, yet aliens, same frequency, scary looking yet peaceful things. Yes, and Sufism. Yeah, and Mace, I've been looking into Sufism, and we talked about the philosopher Arabi recently, and he was able to see different things from other, like the future, and different types of other dimensions and stuff. So that is something I think is really fascinating. I've been studying about recently. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Like and subscribe. Yeah. And yeah, I like that and how the different there's a Soviet mirror experiment that they did when they put two mirrors against each other, and that kind of came from that idea that the mirrors were a pathway to some other. Uh, yes, Remy. Yes, yeah. They came from another world, and moderate view only just realized things clearing that up. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Trevor. Welcome to the crew. Alien, what's your thoughts on Philosopher's Stone? Yeah, the Philosopher's Stone. I believe that it's very fascinating, and it must have. I think probably came from origin or assisted by other being some other realms. That is what I definitely think. And looking over here, you can see how it hits the trees right here. See. Yeah, and yeah, so I believe that it's extremely cool how it's able to. We probably got access from different meditative practices. People are able to discover that, and I mean, it was also discovered through their own scientific studies. Now, I believe, like for instance, like Harry Potter and stuff like that is basically based on alchemy, and that's what magic was. So yeah, I believe it could be used for all kinds of things. We may have gotten help from different meditative practices, and that's how it was used from the other realms, right? Because the concept of creating gold out of thin air was a very cool concept to them at that time. Right. Don't ever use the Book of Jinn, guys. It was written by a Sufi, but as a warning, anyone who use it end up in a bad way. If your frequency is high, it protects you from Jinn. Even a TV magic black screen Black Mirror. Okay, thank you, Mace. Mirror indeed have connection to Perlo world. Yes. Did never use. Okay, remember that. And have you ever read the declassified files on online archives? Turns that the government did quite a bit of research on these subjects strange in the 40s. Yes, I did. Yes. They say words are spells. That's why you have to be careful words you say in order. The Bible is very clear about, in other religions too, you be careful what you say because you say becomes your reality. And the Stoic philosophers also said it too. And I think so my point of Chris, I think the stone probably is from origins from another realm. That's what I think the philosopher's stone. They're trying to crack the code, but it seems like it's from another world. That's what I think about it. And I do think it exists, in spite of it not necessarily being discovered. I believe that it was from an extraterrestrial origin or whatever brought it here. Yeah, Ibn Arabi is the one that I was studying about recently. And that's why people have different connections with each other, supernatural connections with each other. And that's where it originates from with these people, because there's other realms that we don't completely see with our naked eye that we're able to have access to through various different practices. You know, because and a lot of times they're trying to the Sufi. I like the Jedi, man. Yes, that's a good way to put it. The Sufi are like Jedi. Yeah, and recently discovered an experiment where the scientists play music on a plant and cursing words and other that develop differently. Oh, you heard that somewhere. Yeah. And I believe that it's so cool to be able to turn a stone into gold or silver. And I said, I believe they're able to achieve it, but they didn't really, pass on for everybody to see. Yeah. There is astrocentric and astrogenetic and everything. Yeah, definitely. We are like plants, nurturing from the sun, water good through. Yes, yes. The inner and the outer is the true secret manifests in our lives. All right. 007 says one is distraction, the other is knowledge we seek to know. Yeah. And that's what it basically is, the whole circle of life. You know, that's what the whole theme is about. And it's like the force. It's basically the force, like they say in Star Wars. You could see it in everything. It could be used for good or for bad. Yeah, connecting the dots. And I believe that connecting the dots is something that could be done the best looking back. Because sometimes things don't always make sense in the moment. But that's why looking forward, you could always see things looking back. All right. Allegedly, the wise man's in history was Solomon because he asked God for wisdom. Yes, yes. And Solomon is known in a lot of different esocentric and magical type of practices. Like, there's the the Jewish mysticism, which I know about, and the Star of David, which is really the seal of Solomon, was a ring he had that God let the jinn use the jinn to create the temple. And a lot of different types of practices came from him, and even some people use it for good, some people use it for bad. Yeah, so there was an instance where Solomon was asked, he wanted to get the Queen of Sheba's throne, and a jinn was going to go and get it in a moment, and then this other person was able to get it in a blink of an eye because they're able to use this type of magical concept. So the magical stuff that people talk about, oh, that is awesome, Mace. That's awesome. Yeah, and that is the whole point. Is I have the symbol too, of the seal of Solomon also, and that is the whole point where the this magical type stuff now God gave permission for him to use. That's where it came from. And various different prophets and groups had it, and as I said, it could be used for something good or for something bad, like the Jedi or the Sith. It could be used for something bad or good. Right. Yes. Thank you, Mace. You can, but you get them blessed or bless it yourself. Right. Allegedly, the wisest man in history. Because yeah, okay. Solomon. Inscribed on the Solomon's ring was profound truth, making you happy if you were sad, and sad if you were happy. Interesting. Ask you shall be granted. Oh, thank you, Mace. Thank you, Mace. The Sufis would know how to bless it better. Yeah, and that's why sometimes when you're doing something, it's good to have the ones that know what they're doing get things done. Because sometimes if things aren't done right, it could cause a problem. Yes, the yin and the yang. Yeah. Yes, Solomon's story was very incredible. Solomon's lineage. Yeah, I believe I am familiar with that. Yes, and his his line would certainly be is very well documented. It's also quite known in the different circles that we talk about with these different theories and stuff. Now, you can tell chat what you know about it, Chris. I'm not familiar with all of Solomon's descendants or his line, but I'm aware of it. That is not, no, James. It's not. It looks like it, but it's actually a plant the indigenous people grew for wheat and herbal medicines. Now, I know there's one that was a descendant of King David, of course. And which King David was chosen by God to lead the Israelites to, against Goliath, which is a Nephilim. And David did things in his life that were not always that great, but God still chose him. Anyway, yeah. So we got a grasshopper right there. He's just chilling on this plant. Hello, Allie. Good morning to you. Yeah, the sun is out and looking nice all over. Go this way. That was a crazy bird yesterday. Good morning. Good to see you, Allie. Yeah. And yeah, sir, that is the sun, and all the different critters are coming out. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, that trial. He had an unfair trial that was unconstitutional and all this other stuff. Yeah, that verdict was incredibly quick. Solomon, Hebrew Shalomo, is the son of David and Bathsheba. He is remembered as the third king of the ancient Israel and traditionally credited with leading the kingdom. Yes, yes. Thanks. The rival of King David was King Saul, and he was jealous of King David. King Solomon is the son of David. Yeah. It is Alley, Louisiana. Chris says leading the kingdom during a period of great prosperity, wisdom, and influence. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be warm up there. Okay, nice. Nice. I hope you have a nice day where you are too. Yeah, it's nice right now. Yeah. According to the Bible, when God offered Solomon anything he desired, he asked for wisdom rather than wealth or power. Because of this choice, he became famous for his judgment and understanding. Yeah, the bird sounds very nice. Yeah, definitely. Glad you like the bird sounds. Yeah. Chris says one of Solomon's greatest achievements was building the first temple in Jerusalem, which became the spiritual center of Israel. He also expanded trade networks and accumulated immense wealth. Yeah, that's very awesome. See, because God, blessed him, very much. Because when you're after God's heart, He will give you everything that you need. And also like with King David, his cup runneth over, like he said in the Psalms. 007 said, I saw something pretty unbelievable. That was statement, if a bird is born in a cage, it thinks flying should be illegal. Wow. Wow. I guess it's those conditioned to believe that flying was wrong. And that's very interesting. Thanks. Let's see what this is about. Yes, it is a Christian channel. We have different religions and non-religious people here, but yes, it's a Christian-friendly channel, and we talk about Christianity all the time. Yeah. So you're welcome here, Queen Bee. Yeah. Lineage: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah. Generations later, Jesse, David, and Solomon. Oh yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you for the lineage recap. Yes, amen, Queen Bee. They're spreading the news about Jesus. Yeah, yeah. Hey AJ, we are doing good. We are have I'm doing well. I've been thinking about you, AJ. I'm glad that you stopped by. We've been watching the morning sun come up, and we're talking about a variety of different things and conspiracies and different theological things too. But I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Yes, we talk about aliens too, and cryptids and conspiracy theories, and also I do trial broadcasting as well. I do pretty much everything. Yeah, Queen, I agree. I think many of them are fallen angels too. Yeah, because remember the book of Enoch? They talk about these watchers that fell down from grace, and they're disguised as aliens now. I do believe there are aliens from other planets too, also in conjunction with that. But I do also think that there are fallen angels that are disguised as them too. Yeah, definitely. You've not read Enoch, yeah. It's basically goes in an elaboration from Genesis and Numbers. It's like an elaboration of more about the Nephilims and stuff and the different creatures. Like basically those different mythological creatures actually existed, but they were hybrids that were made by those fallen ones. Yeah. AJ said, "Nice man, glad to hear that you've been good. Sorry, haven't been watched through week. Much start at new job. Oh, okay. Well, good luck with your new job, and thanks, and come around whenever you're able to. All right, thinking about you always. I read the King James version too. That's a Bible that I read as well. It's in there in the beginning around Genesis and Numbers. Although I have a bunch of different types of Bibles, I like the King James Bible too. Yeah. Male and female, He created them, blessed them, and called them name and day when we were created. If he asked God for ultimate power, God may have granted him ultimate power, but he would not have had the wisdom to keep the power, and he would have eventually had a downfall. Yeah, that's what have happened. Oh, Queen Bee. The Ethiopian Orthodox Bible has all the books of the Bible in it, including Enoch. I highly recommend that. And the King James Bible has books taken out of it. The Catholic Bible has. The Catholic Bible took out the books that the Ethiopian Bible has. So the Ethiopian Bible has all the books in it uncorrupted. So yeah, because there are other Christian Bibles for political reasons and church politics, they took out books. So the book of the Ethiopian Bible has all the books in it. So there you go. I would say the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible because it has all the books in it intact. And there is a variation of the Catholic Bible called the Catholic King James Bible. So the King James version is good the way it talks in Old English. You could understand the scripture better because the King James version is good with that. Now, the other books, like say the Catholic Bible has some more books that the other church took out of it. There's King James Catholic Bible, which it has it in the Old English. So that one will be good because the Protestant, the what's this called? The King James version took out some books, but they're all good. But one book has one the other took out, and the King James version is good for the Old English. Oh, good morning, Callie. Welcome to the stream. Oh, that's awesome, Mace. Facts. Yeah. Yes, it's the real Bible. Yeah, it's like because you have the Protestant Church and you have you have the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church may have had its own thing, and then it kind of um, then the other people didn't like it because the Catholic Church had some problems, and then the church broke up in a billion different groups, and there's all these different Bibles that were created. So yeah, the Bibles themselves are a mythology in itself. Queen Bee says my mom used to be Catholic, and she did not agree with some of like praying to Mary, etc. Oh yeah, Queen Bee, and that is fine to not do that. I was raised Catholic, but now I'm more Protestant. Well, I call myself an eclectic Christian because I have all kinds of different beliefs. But yeah, I changed from the Catholic Church too. At some point, I just felt that I like the way the Protestants are very Bible oriented, and I don't like people that were like praying to Mary would a lot of times would be asking for intercession, like praying for asking a friend to pray for you. I think that's okay, but yeah, the understand about the Mary thing. It is not necessary to do, and praying to God alone is enough. Yeah, definitely, and the saints and stuff because God is all you need. Yeah. Shell says good morning. Oh, good morning, Shell. Great to see you. And Chris says if Solomon was the wisest man alive, why did he still Solomon was the wisest man alive. Why did he still make mistakes? Wisdom is not perfection, it's knowing the right path and always walking at our different challenges. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've had faith based dreams. Yes, the mockingbirds are going off. Yeah, definitely. And the faith based dream is a lot of times I've had dreams of like some kind of like night terrors where things try to harass me, and God helps me in the dream defeat a beast or an entity. Because I'll have lucid dreams and I'll talk to something, it's not really what I think it is, and God helps me rebuke it. So that is why I've had dreams like that where God has helped me through things. I've also had dreams of the futuristic things happening and God being with me. So yeah, I've had that too. So that's my faith-based dreams, maybe different than other people's, but yeah, I've had that. And because there's definitely evil in the world, and there's also good too. Chris says, "What if Solomon understood truths that his people were not ready to hear? The greatest ideas can sound like madness when society lacks framework to understand them." Yeah, that is true. I mean, that's why the crazy ones, people that think differently, are the ones that really change the world. The people that are crazy enough to change the world are the ones that do. Yes, Queen Bee, and that's the sleep paralysis, the night terror, where the entity tries to put you in a hypnotic stance. Now, scientifically, of course, it's the brain being frozen in a state when you have a nightmare. Scientifically, which I believe that both are true, but the spiritual part of that, besides the scientific part of it, is that yeah, there's a demonic entity that tries to not sleep paralysis. Okay, explain to me what your experience, what you mean then, because I was only familiar with the sleep paralysis, but yeah, a lot of times when you're frozen, it's when the entity tries to like suck the energy out of you like a vampire, and that's why it's important to have the Lord help people overcome that. But it happens to everybody, a lot of people, you know. No, I'm saying is people always say it's sleep paralysis. It's not. It's demons. Yes, I believe sleep paralysis is demonic. Yeah, like I believe that the scientific term is explaining something that is really a spiritual thing. Yeah, sleep paralysis is a demonic suppression. Let's call it demonic suppression. That's definitely what that is, and it is when the demons try to, like a vampire, absorb the energy from you when you're sleeping. I knew a boy once age when I was 20, and I pet vets vent to me explained exactly what has happened to me when you were 20, and oh, okay, yes. And if you use his name, JC, speak it out loud, it usually does or cannot speak it, I think it. Yes, that's helped me too. Yes, Jesus has helped me very much with it. Yeah. Maybe he said, the only way to get rid of it is to say, in Jesus' name, I command you to leave. Yes. And here's a little bit of the knowledge world. Definitely, Demon has changed. And he said that it was only way would get him as well. And a demon used to be something that could not be explained simply because something that was happening that could be not be explained. Yeah. Facts, Trevor. And also 007 too. Now, I do believe both are true. I believe that there are demonic entities out there, and there's a scientific side to it too. I believe that both are true. I mean, there certainly is an evil in this world, and I believe that God helps us overcome those things. I have felt of being held down before a few days ago, and I was waking up slowly. Yeah, you see, that's what it is. You know, there is this entity that there's a painting of an entity sitting on top of a woman, and with a crazy horse peeking behind the curtains because they used to have curtains in beds back in 1800s and stuff, and that's what the person was experiencing. Behind the curtain. Yeah, yeah. And Charles says, well, that is the world is a reflection of light that enters in the optic nerve, which your brain processes. This information becomes your reality. Yeah, I know. Chris and I are talking about that. That basically what we see is a reality as it kind of materializes. I see a spider weaving a web right now. It's pretty cool. It's frightening. If you know what it is, the world, then you'll know the master of this world is. Yep. Like what Jesus said, his kingdom is not of this world. So that's why the world is filled with so much evil in it, because and the desires of this world, like what Chris and I were talking about, is Solomon could have asked for power and stuff, but he wouldn't have the wisdom to obtain it forever. So that's why the wisdom is more important, because when you get power, you'll use wisdom to keep it. Queen said, I had pastor write me a letter saying that didn't happen and they have no power over you. Well, sleep paralysis, he didn't understand. You see, they mean well, but they're deceived because God can allow things like that to happen. It does. Okay? So don't let them. One time a priest said that the devil doesn't know your mind or your thoughts, but he does. Okay? like like Mermaid, my friend Mermaid. Her and I have like telepathic communication. Like I'll think of something or she thinks of something. We kind of like say the same thing. So if humans could have that, certainly these other supernatural things, these powerful demonic entities or good angels could have it too over us. Yeah. So and remember, don't always go with the status quo, like what a pastor and stuff says. Go with what your own intuition. All right, because it won't mislead you. The King James version, the Lord of this world. Right. Right. Don't be scared, even if it's scary at first. Right. Yes, we are the dust that he craves. Yeah. Yeah. I always had a vision. I felt like time in a dream. Yeah, I'd like to know about it if you want to share it. Yeah, because I believe that dreams possibly could be alternate universes. They could be alternate universes, like us, a reality from another universe. That could be a possibility, or something else entirely that could happen in the future. The clouds were peeled back like a ripped paper scroll. Oh yeah, I mean that reminds me of the apocalypse. Because sometimes the apocalypse is describing the mountains being become as created wool, and the whole basically the world just turns into a ripple effect. It feels like it's sometimes I feel like it's me but disconnected. Oh, fried. I felt like that before too. Yeah, demons and angels fighting in another realm hidden from us. We're not able to see. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely I believe is true. Yeah, I used to feel like that in real life. But yeah, I know what you mean. I've had it in dreams too, and yeah, it could be you from another universe or some other type of thing like that. It's a possibility. Sometimes I would wonder if I am me or if I exist. Like sometimes I had a feeling I'm in a matrix or something, but I don't have those really much anymore. But I used to think that sometimes. Yeah, but yeah. Liivvee says like the real closer to us than we know. The realm is closer to us than we know. Yeah, I mean there's people that have seen ghosts and aliens and like I've documented a UFO in this live stream before where it just goes up in the air and just vanishes. It's like there's something else there besides us. Angels have much more knowledge than what people think. Oh, yeah, and a lot of times, see, angels look are real different looking. Oh, okay, Mace. Blessings to you, and see you soon. Thanks for coming. Yeah, okay. And yeah, the angels look like a sun, right? They look like the sun, or they look like a giant star with wheels and then wheels with like an eye in the center. Yeah, thank you, Mace. Absolutely. And there is these other things that happen where the angels like it looks like a wheel within wheels or wings with different horned, not horned, but like different creatures that look kind of different than what we think they look like, with a bunch of eyes in them. Yeah, describe what you think the Matrix is. Oh, okay. And I always talk about the following your intuition, regardless of everything. Body sends messages before and had process whether it treats or something completely different. Okay. And I'm looking for escape route from the Matrix, like the Truman Show. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thinking outside the box is very important. Yeah. And everyone talks about Antarctica walls. But yeah, Antarctica is something that I've heard about before. The walls in Antarctica. Yeah, there's something truly out there besides you know. There's other civilizations behind that wall apparently. Yeah, you know there is a more to it than meets the eye. Now, apparently, some of the other dimensions exist beyond that wall. That's something that I've also heard about too. Let's see. And when you had time, Alien, look into the guy Jacob Grinber allegedly left a Matrix. Okay, I will. Yeah, and he also says, see, we all are in a cycle. We fell a few, we are left by ourselves and stay the slaves to the system. When we are greater in number, and they know it, they fear and coming together, but people are waking up slowly. Yeah, yeah, there's more of us than there are of them. Yeah, absolutely. See. If every breakthrough begins as fiction, are impossible things, simple ideas waiting for enough time? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's simply waiting for enough time. Yeah, because that is what it is. The impossible things is waiting for enough time to pass for that to come to effect. It's like the firmament pictures of globes from 1958 and lower say there's one. Yeah, you see, the thing is that the old ways of measuring content, like the way the Earth looked and stuff back in the different ways of measuring time, they knew how to do it back then, and they knew what was really there. But then they censored the truth later. Let's see. Some are airplanes, submarines, and video calls. One sounded absurd, yet not every dream survives contact with physical laws. Time can turn imagination into invention. That very well said. Very well said. I've seen this lady who bought land and put her tiny home on it and opened her land up to others, and they worked as a community, growing, raising things. That way, we all should be doing. Yeah, I agree. Queen Bee. It'd be a little utopian society. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Pash. Shout out to Aussies. Glad that y'all are ahead. So that's great. Arcane knowledge misapplied is sorcery, but when popularly utilized becomes innovation, knowledge, a form of pure magic. Yeah, very well said, 007. Like Iron Man said, magic is just another form of unknown science. Yeah, he thought, you know, there's all kinds of cryptids that existed. We talked about earlier, where people thought there was mythological things, but there were undiscovered types of creatures that are around. And the way censorship may work is that the right hand may not know what the left hand is doing. That's another thing about it as well. Where when you're trying to look who's censoring what, and it might just be a big network of different people that don't even know what they're doing. Right. Yeah, it is a trail in my backyard. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this is okra right here. Oh, I designed this whole thing. Yeah. Now the grass is kind of high. That I have to cut it today because of the a lot of rain that I had. All right. But anyway, these are tomatoes right here. There's more of them growing, but they're very tiny. There's a little baby tomato right there. Another one right there too. It is Louisiana. That's a good idea, Queen Bee. Yeah, that's a good point. 007. Oh, okay. That sounds cool. Praying mantises. Yeah, we do have praying mantises around here, but definitely need more. Yeah. So like with the Mary and the saints, the I think what it's supposed to be was like people asking, like you ask a friend to pray for you. That's what it was supposed to be like, but people may have misinterpreted and kind of twisted it around. But yeah, you're only supposed to pray to God. But if people wanted to ask for like one of them to pray for them is okay, but the praying like directly to it like a deity can be seen as something not completely the way it's supposed to be done. But yeah, God is all that you need, of course, at the same time. But yeah, that is that explained. So uh, that's why going to God yourself is good to do, and that's what I do as well. So I'm glad that you're able to see things and think for yourself and come to different conclusions. Now, this right here is these are plants that I grew. They're getting huge. It's like a beanstalk. They're going to get much bigger. These are elderberry trees. Darkness cannot exist without light, and light cannot exist without yin and yang. This is called giant ragweeds. They're actually technically just weeds that grow in abandoned places, but I took some many years ago and brought them here because I thought that they were interesting looking and they were plants that had to be for something at one time. They were useful plants. They were cool plants. And I looked it up, and they were used by the indigenous natives, Native Americans, to for making wheat and herbal medicines. And they're also the stalks are used for building materials or making a tomato thing. Yes, we can eat dandelions. That's true. Right, and there's the sun coming through the elderberry trees. Very nice. Yeah, like a natural tomato cage. Yeah, and those are more elderberries. Yeah, No, it's not that. It's not that. No, I don't have that in this yard I'm aware of. You should get some pole beans and plant bean pyramids next, and they really are amazing. Oh, thanks, thanks. If reality is a stage, is consciousness the actor or the audience? Consciousness can be both, possibly, but it definitely is like a background actor. But when it's not being recognized, it's the audience just watching, observing. It depends on the person. I just watch about how people use copper and increase their yield. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know about that. And that's the palm tree. Got some hieroglyphics. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Oh, thank you, Queen Bee. Appreciate it. If dreams are laboratories, what experiments is the mind conducting at night? Scared. Well, it's conducting a lot of experiments about how to cope with things. It's trying to figure out how to deal with different factors that it's trying to deal with. It could be trying to go into another dimension, a variety of different things. Gonna say goodbye. Really enjoy the chat. Thank you again for moderator. Hope you didn't regret it. Only JK. Catch you next time, by all. Okay. See you later, Trevor. Thank you for hanging out with us. Yes, there are ancient trees here. I'll show you a trunk of one. It was dead a long time ago, but it was destroyed against my will, but I still have the tree trunk of it. This is not an ancient tree, but it's a descendant of a tree that Benjamin Franklin brought to the United States. But it's not the original tree, but it's a descendant of it. Well, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so that is a tree trunk of a cypress tree. It's probably about hundreds or a thousand years old or something like that. Like this. Okay, so that is see, it's a swamp tree. Oh, that's cool. 007. That's cool. Yeah, so that is it's like a cypress type tree. It's a swamp type tree, but it's a cypress tree. But yeah, it was probably over 1,000 years old, or hundreds and hundreds of years ago. It was dead in like the before the last like it could have been dead in the 70s or 80s or before that. It was very very old. Yeah, the snakes are around. Yeah, be careful of snakes indeed. Oh, thanks, Passion. Thanks. I'll show you a living one from the 1800s. Let's see. That one right there is from around 1812. It was probably born. I mean, not born, but it started growing. Right there. It's a swamp tree, another cypress tree. It's big. Not as old as the 1,000-year-old one I just showed you, but it's another old one. Oh, you live in the border of Arkansas. Well, I'm sure it's much cooler up there than it is where I am. But it's still cool. Arkansas is nice. I like it up there too. If I believe the creator did, or the creator put it in a motion where it would right itself. And this is okra, which is from Africa, but it came here in like the 1700s. Passion, a very good question. Now, in the old houses, which my house is old, and older houses, see my house and the house that you see the mockingbird talk on, and the other one I'm the next to it where I'm in, those are made over 100 years ago, right? And before that, they would use the cypress wood for building houses because the cypress wood is resistant to rust. I mean, not rust. That's stupid. To decay. It's completely immune to. It's completely waterproof and mosquito proof. I mean termite proof. Now, I believe it's also termite proof too. And they used to use it for constructing the very old houses. And daily life, it's not really used anymore like it was, but it would be an excellent wood for here because of the moisture and stuff. So it's good for construction. Yeah. And it's not really as commonly used as it used to be. It's more of an aesthetic thing to look at, but it's still used. There is like some hole in the floor, and the dude was talking about how cypress wood isn't used as plywood, but it is used as plywood. Because I looked it up. It's like it's very expensive though. Oh, cool! It's waterproof. That makes sense. Now I think about it. A swamp tree. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 007. That the oak tree was used to build those big ships that went down to Australia and New Zealand and to go to different parts of the world. Those trees are used to build those big ships, the pirate ships and stuff. Now I got some clouds. My favorite wood is the cedar wood tree. It's very fragrant. Oh yeah, I like cedar wood too. Yeah, it's used in a lot of fragrance things like that. Also, passion. There's something called Spanish moss. I don't have any on this tree, but I could get some. But It's basically like, you have like a tree like this, but it has like some ghoulish, squiggly line, green, like gray stuff hanging off of it. That's what those swamp tree that you just saw. Uh, that is the same type of tree that is used for that those things hang off of. So yeah, the swamp tree has those on there. It looks very spooky and ghoulish looking, a lot of times, especially at night. Yeah, that tree that I showed y'all, that piece of wood, is probably over 1,000 years old, or several hundred years ago. It was like it died decades ago, decade before I was even born, probably. There's a picture of that tree being alive in the 40s, I think. I mean, no, in the 50s and 60s. That's when it was known to be alive last. Then it was just like a hollow trunk. So you're reading my mind. You see, that's a telepathic thing. I was thinking to myself, I wonder if Saw is if if she's going to. I know she's watching, but I was wondering if she was around to ask her about the trial, right? And see, with Saw right there, she came into. I telepathically sent her a message, and she came. So there you go, chat. That's what I was talking about. So okay, Saw, we're going to do it in 30 minutes. All right, around 8:30 my time. We're going to. I'm going to, for the moment, or we're going to do the valet trial replay, unless there's something else that y'all request. Oh, Pash, you know what I'm talking about then. Okay. Yeah. Horror movies and D&D campaigns. Yeah. Yes, that is true. Okay, thank you, Saul. Shell says, someone telepathically send me some lottery winning numbers, please. Yes, yes. We need to uh, definitely do that for Shell. Yes, absolutely. And that would be a going right her way. We would do that immediately. And yeah, so that is really cool about the cypress would be good for outdoor building or some kind of structure, because they used that back in the old days. Oh, okay, Pash has a 27 is a good number. 27 is actually a number that's a lucky number. By the way, it's a lucky number. And also, what we do is with 27. I mean, there was Locker 27 that was haunted. There was the 27 Club. Yeah, the 27 is a special number. Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. So the mockingbird's in that tree right there. Well, it's actually that tree. There's also squirrels in that tree. We have some clouds. Yeah, and that tree that you saw, the tree trunk, it was right over here. That's where it used to be. Around 2009, my uh, grandpa deconstructed it. Let's just say, put it nicely, and it was right there next to this hole. You see that hole? That hole. It was in there. Okay, it seems like there's going to be something about the mic trial is going to come on. Saw in 30 minutes. Well, so whatever that is, I'll air it. Okay. Interesting. If I saw that right. And so that is where the tree was. And it was deconstructed, and I wasn't really happy about being deconstructed. It was a dead tree branch. It was a dead tree trunk, right? And I was a little bit, I want to be there, but then again, I could use the wood for things. I have a piece of the wood in my house on the deconstructed. Perfect. Yeah, he used to come in here and deconstruct plants and bushes that were here, and he now he's more of he doesn't come out as much. He's upstairs now, but that's what he would do, and I just was able to use the tree wood for storage and stuff. Like I have it outside. You see, it was part of a cat house. That's why that piece of cypress was there. And I have another piece of it in another area, and I have a part of it on the table, and it's a very nice red color, orange color as well. I remember I was at summer camp, and I came back, and he deconstructed it, and I was a little bit surprised. I was like, "Whoa, scared!" And yeah, and I turned the yard into a nature walk. Originally, this was just be a bunch of empty grasslands. Like it would just be grass and just more grass. And then I allowed a bunch of things to grow here. So that's what I did. And I brought around 2015 or so. I brought this plant here. It started in the back and it just grew all over the place, everywhere. So it took over 10 years for it to be the way. And that tree is from 2010. Because this used to be a cornfield. I grew some very nice corn. It tasted very good. And this little tiny tree was growing, and I said, we're going to keep it. And now it's very big. Okay, and the little grasshopper is there on the plant again. I reckon you would be a Druid if you played very nature adjacent. If you played Dungeons and Dragons. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I like that. Thank you. It's a good compliment. That would suit me a lot. I mean, this is kind of like a Celtic forest or some sort of mythological forest of some kind. So yeah, that would suit me. All right. So there's going to be 30 minutes. There's going to be some stream about some trial stuff I'm going to play. And let's see. I'm I'm going to get ready for that. And then whenever that's over with, I'll play the other thing. Okay. So um yeah, this one will be ending and I'm going to have to start the other one. Well, about to start the other one. So thank you all for coming. We had a good stream and we'll see you all in the next one. All right. Thank you all and peace. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Passion. All right.